I still remember the day I chose to betray him. It wasn't a burst of madness, but a slow, deliberate descent. The kind that begins with a whisper convincing you that you deserve more. I told myself it was harmless, that what he didn't know couldn't hurt him. I was wrong. Daniel wasn't the type of man who filled a room with noise. He never shouted, never demanded. He carried this calm, unshakable stillness that made the world feel safe. For 6 years, that quiet was my shelter, until it became the weight of my guilt. It started as curiosity, messages that turned into confessions, confessions that became late-night meetings. The other man, Mark, made me feel seen, wanted, or maybe I just needed to believe that. I told myself Daniel was distant, too calm, too steady. I convinced myself I was missing something, something thrilling. And then I crossed a line I could never uncross. The affair lasted 3 months. 3 months of lies that tasted like freedom but stank of fear. I learned how to smile while decay grew behind my teeth. Then one Tuesday evening, I came home early, careless, foolishly content, thinking I could keep both worlds intact. The lights were low. The smell of roasted chicken hung in the air. Daniel sat at the table, his phone face down, one plate before him. For a heartbeat, I thought he was waiting for me to join him. Then he looked up, and I knew something had shattered. "You're home early," he said quietly. No accusation, no surprise, just a calm observation, like stating the weather. I laughed, tucking my hair behind my ear. "Yeah, traffic was light today." He nodded once and motioned to the chair across from him. "Sit." I sat. My pulse thundered, drowning the faint hum of the fridge. He picked up a folded piece of paper and slid it across the table. I didn't need to open it to know. Screenshots, messages, proof. I started to speak, but he raised a hand. "Don't," he said. "Just listen." His voice didn't shake. He didn't yell. He wasn't even angry. That terrified me most. "I've spent weeks wondering what I did wrong," he said. "Maybe I wasn't affectionate enough. Maybe I was too calm, too predictable. But then I understood. Your betrayal wasn't about me. You weren't missing love, Emily. You were addicted to chaos. You wanted noise." He paused. "So I'll give you silence." My throat went dry. "Daniel, please, I made a mistake." He leaned back, eyes steady. "No, Emily. You made a choice." The way he said my name, each syllable stripped of warmth, felt like a door closing forever. Then, quietly, he stood. He walked to the counter and picked up a small envelope. "You'll find your things in the guest room. Tomorrow, movers will come for the rest. You'll have what you need, except me." My chest folded inward. "You're just going to throw away 6 years?" He turned slightly, his face unreadable. "You already did." That night, he slept in the master bedroom. I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of his footsteps above, measured, calm, relentless. I wanted him to yell, to curse, to make me feel small enough to justify what I'd done. But he didn't. His silence was sharper than any scream. It was punishment disguised as mercy. When morning came, he was gone. No note, no text, no goodbye, just absence. And that was when I realized something terrifying. The real cost of betrayal isn't losing the person you cheated with. It's losing the one who stays silent long enough to let you destroy yourself. The days that followed were muted, like walking through a world where all sound had been stripped away. Every corner of that house echoed with ghosts. The coffee mug he used, the faint scent of his cologne on the couch, the photo from Seattle smiling back like evidence of a crime left unsolved. He didn't block me. He didn't rage online. He simply disappeared. That silence wasn't forgiveness. It was execution. I tried to reach him, calls, texts, endless messages. Nothing. Daniel had folded himself out of the world I still lived in. A mutual friend told me he'd taken time off work, focusing on himself. The words sounded clean, harmless, but to me, they cut like glass. Meanwhile, Mark, the man I'd risked everything for, began to fade the moment Daniel was gone. What once felt electric now felt hollow. His touch became ownership. His eyes, judgment. And when I cried, mourning the quiet steadiness I had destroyed, he only said, "You chose this, Emily. Don't regret it now." That night, I packed a bag and left his apartment. I couldn't go home. I went to my sister's instead. She opened the door, looked at me for a long time, and whispered, "What did you do?" I broke apart on her couch, sobbing until there was nothing left to empty. Between breaths, I finally said the truth. He didn't yell. He didn't fight. He just left. And that's what broke me. Months passed before I saw him again. I spotted him in a small cafe near our old place. He looked lighter, his hair shorter, his eyes clear. Across from him sat a woman I didn't know. She was laughing, and he was smiling in that effortless way I hadn't seen in years. My heart clenched. I wanted to go over to say I was sorry, truly sorry this time. But then he looked up. Our eyes met for just a second, and in that one glance I saw everything: recognition, forgiveness, and distance. No anger, just peace. He gave a polite nod, the kind you offer a stranger you once knew, and turned back to her. That was the moment I finally understood the weight of his silence. He didn't destroy me with rage or revenge. He simply healed without me. He let time erase what love once held. I left the cafe and walked through the city, my reflection ghosting beside me in every window. I used to wish Daniel had been louder, more emotional, more unpredictable. But his quiet had always been his power, and now it was my haunting. Years later, people still ask why I never remarried. I tell them I'm working on myself, though that's a lie. The truth is, once you've been loved by someone who gave you peace, chaos never feels like passion again. It just feels empty. Sometimes, I replay that last dinner. The cold chicken, the folded paper, his calm voice saying, "You made a choice." And I think about how easy it was to mistake silence for security. How simple it was to take a good man for granted just because he never made me fear losing him. But I did lose him. Not in a storm, not in a fight, just in a single, devastating moment of quiet truth. And now, every time I hear silence, I remember him, the man I betrayed.